Nico knew that pack members were talking about him behind his back. He could also hear the whispers, and like Lucy, he thought there would come a day that they would have to show him the respect he deserved as an alpha. None of them had given the pack laws any thought. None of them anticipated that the ceremonies they were planning would be for nothing. Another 2 months passed without a word from Dallas, and they started to breathe a little easier, thinking that Nico's actions would have no consequences for Shadow Valley Pack. The invitations had been sent out to every pack and the elders. It was going to be a huge ceremony with as many guests as they could hold within their territory. The decorations had been picked out, but the current Luna wasn't happy with it. Lucy was a very demanding woman, and she knew how to get her way, how to manipulate Nico into giving her everything she wanted. It wasn't the cost of the party that the Luna worried about. It was the decorations that worried her, and she didn't know how to bring it up with her mate or her son. Nico didn't want to hear a bad word about Lucy, and her mate always chose the side of their son. Lucy had turned down every suggestion the Luna had made on the decorations. She didn't want the black with golden accented tablecloths or any of the other items in their pack colors. Everything was in a bright pink color with black accents, from the tablecloths to the candle holders, and the more the Luna looked at it, the more she realized that this would make them the laughingstock of the kingdom. Let's just hope that the king doesn't show up, the Luna had thought to herself. She would hate it if the royal family saw this. When it came to Lucy's Luna training, well, there wasn't any. Lucy didn't believe she needed to know what the duties of a Luna are. She had dismissed every attempt of the current Luna to reign her, and once again Lucy had managed to manipulate Nico into agreeing with her. Instead of fighting her son on his decision, she accepted it with a soft smile. Lucy would fall out of character soon enough, and then Nico would realize that he made a huge mistake, a mistake the Luna hoped he could still rectify. Too bad for Shadow Valley Pack that they were being watched. If only every shifter would have realized that they are always watched, and that everything they did would eventually have consequences. There was no hope for Nico to mend his mistake. There was no hope for Shadow Valley Pack to stay a strong and wealthy pack. Lucy's scheming had already cost too much. She had robbed Shadow Valley Pack of the one thing that had kept them so strong and wealthy. But Lucy wasn't the only one to blame. There were others within that territory that were responsible. Dallas will find her happiness. She is the key to this kingdom's survival. Without Dallas, this kingdom is doomed. Without her, this kingdom will perish. A divine intervention is being plotted. Darius POV. The entire week I keep thinking about Ruth's remark. Why hadn't I thought of it myself? Too busy with ignoring them, too busy with avoiding them. Camus, my lichen, says. He is right. Daxton and I have been busy with keeping our meddling mother at bay. If we could stay away from our mother and Daniela, we would. Preston, we need to talk after dinner, I say, knowing that he will understand that I don't want anyone else to hear what I have say. I walk into the dining room to see that our mother and Daniela are once again sitting at our table. Daxton is standing near the window, and the look in his eyes is murderous. Daxton, just know that I want what is best for you. You will never find that connection. You are too old, and a chosen mate is your only option. Mother says, and I get brought back to Ruth's remark. I know that history tells us that shifters usually find their connection between 18 and 30. But ever since we found our new way of finding a mate, the age of finding that connection has shifted a lot. Mother, stop. I am getting sick and tired of this. I growl as I walk over to my seat. Darius, I wasn't talking to you. I was just discussing something with your brother. Mom says with an annoyed voice, and I want to respond, but I don't get the chance. I have had enough of this. Stop bugging Daxton about taking a chosen mate, and using his age as a reason is bullshit. Preston and I met 2 years ago. Raiden and Ruth met a year ago, and both of them were the same age as Daxton and Darius are now. You are no longer welcome at this table, and I don't care that you are their mother. You and Daniela can leave right this minute, and if I ever hear you talk to Daxton like that again, I will ban you from the pack house. Is that clear? Luna Pearl asks. Daniela is smart enough to get moving, after she has acknowledged that she understood Luna Pearl. Mom is unwilling to bow down, but I know who this is going to win and how this will probably end. Am I clear? Luna Pearl asks again, her eyes locked with those of my mother, and I hear her softly mumble a yes. What the fuck did you say? Luna Pearl roars, and everyone around them takes a step back. Yes, Luna, Mother mumbles, not that she is happy with it. She doesn't move from her seat, though, and I can already feel the anger radiating from Luna Pearl. Two elite warriors rush over to pull Mother from her seat, but she tries to fight them, and that is a totally wrong move. Get her the fuck out of the pack house. Madeline, you are banned from the pack house for the entire week. One more mistake after that and it will be permanent, Alpha Preston says. It takes a while for things to settle down, but once everyone has settled down, dinner gets served, and it seems to be the cue for all pack members to start talking again. It is quiet at our table. None of us is too happy with the events of the evening, and it might take a while before Pearl is back to her calm self. After we have gotten our dessert, Pearl is finally able to respond again to everything around her, and the first thing out of her mouth is, "That fucking bitch." We chuckle as she starts cutting into her slice of cake, and it doesn't take long before we are finished with dinner. We follow Preston and Pearl up to the alpha floor. I hope that Ruth can shed some light on the remarks she made. Okay, Darius, out with it. What is on your mind? Preston asks the moment the door closes behind us. I have been thinking about Ruth's remarks. It has kept me preoccupied all week, and I don't understand why I never thought of it myself. Why is Mother pushing Daniela on Daxton and not me? Why does Mother keep pushing Daxton to a chosen mate and not me? I ask. It is quiet for a moment, before all of them start talking at once, and I smile as I hear the cacophony of voices. Okay, can we do this one at the time? I can't make head or tails out of this, I say, and suddenly it is quiet again. I have always found it strange, and that is why I gave it a lot of thought. Always listening to what Madeline said or how she said it, and that is what led to my questions. Ruth says. Dad told me that she made the two of you believe that you were born a year apart and that Darius is the oldest, but he couldn't get her to tell him why she did it. Just to make this even more interesting, Daxton is 5 minutes older, Preston says with a smile. Hold on, he is older than me, I ask, not that it matters to me. It just makes things a bit stranger, that is all. Mother always acted as if I was the oldest, and now I find out that I am not. Everyone has a dumbfounded look on their faces. It is hard to understand why a mother would do that to her own sons. I might have the answer, though, and I think it has to do with your mother's upbringing. In her pack, the oldest of a twin got the position of their father. The youngest got nothing. I am assuming that your mother believed it works the same here, but we all know it doesn't, Preston says. It would explain why she favored only one of us, but not why she chose me over Daxton. What if your mother is afraid that Daxton will get the beta position? After all, she is unaware of the fact that I made both you my beta. She might fear that I will find out the truth and hand over the position to Daxton, Preston says. If she knows our pack laws, she will know that a high rank with a chosen mate is not accepted, Pearl responds. That could be why our mother is trying to force Daxton to take a chosen mate, but I don't believe it is the correct answer. Dallas POV. Did you see the dress code for the ceremony? Jesper asks, while turning it towards Joshua. No, I didn't. I don't need to know, because I will be wearing my uniform, I reply as I sit down behind my desk. Usually the dress code for an Alpha and or Luna ceremony is similar. You show up in the colors of your pack. In some cases, they just ask you to wear something with your pack's emblem on it. For men, that usually means a tie with the emblem on it, and most women wear a brooch or scarf with the emblem on it. No dress code, as long as there is a hint of bright pink, Jesper says, and I roll my eyes at the disrespect Lucy shows to our traditions. Let's just get this started before we get called away for another mission. I mumble, not looking forward to the paperwork this involves. We start with the forms for the Alpha ceremony. Most of the information we have to fill out is easy. It is when we come to the reason for the cancellation that we have to be thoughtful, because if we formulate this incorrectly, it will sound as a challenge towards Alpha Leon. The reason for canceling the Alpha ceremony is breaking their pack law. I state, and both Joshua and Jesper look at me for some answers. I pull up the information the elders have on Shadow Valley Pack, and I let Joshua and Jesper read it. You knew this without having to look it up? Joshua asks, and I just nod my head. There is nothing else to say. I didn't know until I got here, but I also found out that pack laws have to be accessible for all pack members. Each pack has to put it into the education of their children, so that no one can say that they didn't know that they were breaking pack laws. Alpha Leon has admitted reports to the elders on every child in his pack that took the class and their grade for that class, but I know that it was never a part of our education. I state. Joshua is writing down the reason for cancellation, while Jesper gets the forms for the Luna ceremony, and he starts filling out the information he has. Once we have filled out all the forms for the cancellation, we start on the forms for a trial, and I check the schedule to find a date that will give me some time to prepare, after I have canceled both ceremonies. Why not choose a date closer to the cancellation? Jesper asks. We have all the evidence we need. No, we don't. There are still a few things I need answers to, and I hope to have found them all by the time the trial starts. I answer him. How can we help? He asks, and I hand him the list of questions I wrote on my way over here. Most already have an answer. It is the ones without an answer that I need their help with. We'll take this one, and I suggest that you talk to Elder Jensen about this question, Jesper says, and I look at the list to see which one Elder Jensen might be able to help me with. It is a question that I found after starting my studies. It was something one of my classmates had said, and it had stuck with me ever since. I decide to take Jesper advice and go to talk to Elder Jensen, hoping that he can help me out a little bit. Maybe he even has the answer to my question, and it will be one more question I can cross off my list, one step closer to find out the truth. I find Elder Jensen in his office, and I close the door behind me before I walk over to the couch.